preseason predictions had you guys, one of the youngest teams in D1 basketball, and you guys are, 4-0 in conference play. So can you talk about the?
I just think this team is overachieving, and that I hope never is portrayed or skewed or looked at as me saying these guys aren't good players, because they are. But we're undersized. Mills is 6'4", Mike Craig's 6'3", Boardingham 6'5", Norville 6'5", playing in the post in a high-level league. And guys are tough and gritty, and it's overcoming a lot of the obstacles or lack of experience or challenges that we've been thrown. And I heard Mills say he wants to credit the coaches. It's really just the opposite. These guys have bought in. They've worked extremely hard. Guys have improved even over the last 3 or 4 weeks. You see guys like Cedric Jenkins driving the ball, or early in the year he either couldn't do it or was afraid to try to do it. Rashard McGill, same thing. Those guys are getting better because they have the right approach to practice every day, and that's a credit to those guys.
Coach, realistically, did you expect to be this good?
No. When you look at our roster with 6 years of Division I experience, we're tied with Lipscomb and Mississippi State for the least experienced teams in all of college basketball. You looked at our schedule on the front end, only 3 home games and 13 in the first 13 contests. You're going to places like Arizona, Wichita State, Georgia, New Mexico State, Louisiana Tech. I was hoping, to be honest, that we would have a winning season this year and be obviously getting better toward the future. But once you start preparing for every opponent, then certainly as a coach and certainly as our team, you expect to win. And I think that's been a big part of our success. Guys expect to win. Our coaches expect to win, regardless of how tall we are or how short we are or whatever it is. Our guys have a nice way about them thinking they're going to win the game.
Coach, your game plan's been really good. The last 3 games, we're waiting until 7 minutes remains in the first half before you kind of kick it into gear. But just some of that's feeling out. I know teams kind of feeling each other out, but
yeah,
you guys have really stomped on the gas with coming down the stretch of that first half.
Well, our bench has been good, and look here. I guess tonight we outscore them 28-11. I don't have the bench rebounding totals, but I thought at SMU we just started a little lethargic, and our bench gave us a lift. Tonight, I thought we were just trying too hard. Early in the game, because of the crowd, our guys were so pumped up, and the crowd was fantastic, by the way, but we missed a couple easy shots around the goal, and they bank in a 3 at the end of the shot clock, and you could see our guys tighten up just a little bit. But it wasn't from being lethargic like at SMU. We were just maybe forcing it a little bit. And then we got it going, and our bench comes in, and really, you look at a guy like Rashard, he's improved so much that when he comes in for Dwayne, it's not that big a drop-off. When Cedric comes in for Gerald, it's not that big a drop-off. When Mike Craig is coming in and playing well and Norville's playing well, they give it's not a huge drop-off from Mills and Davion. So early in the year, my biggest concern outside of our lack of size was the fact that I thought we'd have 6, maybe 7 guys that we could actually play in real games. And now we're playing a legitimate 9-man rotation, which is good.
Whether it's trapping on the baseline on that 2-3 zone or forcing steals and turnovers on the full court press, can you talk about how big of a part of the game plan that is going in?
Well, that's our system and that's our style of play. And, we're going to press just about every game 94 feet on made baskets and dead balls and try to create turnovers. And even at times where we press 3 different ways, is a little bit more of a containment press at times, depending who we play and home or away, all those things come into effect. But and then when we get in the half court, we'll trap ball screens at times. We'll trap the short corners. You saw baseline drives and just trying to be aggressive, and I think it's a mentality. Sometimes they make you pay and burn you and get a layup, but we're causing tempo and we're forcing turnovers, getting deflections. And then a lot of times what happens when you do that, the coach just has them quit throwing it to the short corner, quit driving it to the baseline, and then that's taken away part of their offense. So all those things come into play over 40 minutes. But for the most part, all year, our team's been aggressive and in attack mode, and that's what we try to teach every day.
And you get steals out of it, too. I think they had 12 turnovers in the first half. You guys have 9 steals. So, obviously it's producing. And it just seems like it feeds.
It does, and I think the biggest thing is when you play that style of play and then you think, well, they can't play that way for 40 minutes. And then you come off the bench and guys are so excited and energized and ready to play. It's the second wave. And then as they wear down a little bit, you go back to your starters, and you like to think over the time it never really lets up or slows up. Now, I've been doing this a long time. It's always easier to do, and it's always better on your home floor with a fantastic crowd. It's tougher to have that energy for 40 minutes on the road, but we've been pretty good on the road too.
Coach, just observing from last year to this year, I mean, I'm sure you saw footage of Neil Watson. He just seems a lot more composed this year in his ball handling and pressure situations. Can you kind of talk about him and his importance to the flow of the offense?
Yeah, Neil's a calming influence for us. He's obviously our primary ball handler. And, one thing a lot of people don't realize is last year he played about 29 minutes a game, but he played a lot of his minutes at the 2 because Angelo Johnson was playing the point. I really didn't know that or realize that until about 2 months in the job. I started watching more and more tape of last year's team. And he wasn't a primary ball handler last year. Angelo was. So he's had to improve and grow, and not just it wasn't a deal where it kind of carried over from last year. He's gotten better with the ball through things we do every day. He's become more confident. He's gained 6 or 8 pounds of muscle in the off season, which helps when teams are bumping him and holding him and all the things they do. And so but he's definitely a calming influence. When he's out of the game, Dwayne Davis can play the point and he can survive those minutes, but that's not his true position or his natural position. So Neil's going to play until he's dog tired about every night.
How important was it at the beginning of the game where UAB makes that little bit of a run? You guys were struggling a little bit to make plays, but made enough where it didn't turn into a monster run.
Yeah, and I think that just goes back to everything we talk about, Tim, in regard to the 2 consistent things you can have every game are your commitment to defend and your commitment to box out and rebound the ball. And when you're not making shots, you can still be in the game. It might be 14-8 with 6 minutes to go in the half, but at least you're still in the game. Now as you start making shots, all of a sudden it goes from 14-8 to 26-18 us because you're still defending and rebounding. So we talk about that all the time, and you have to be able to defend and rebound the ball because there's going to be a lot of nights you don't shoot it well, particularly on the road. But once you do shoot it well and get your team going, you get to get in your press a little more often. It usually is kind of an avalanching effect.
Coach, what was it like to watch whenever they're clicking on all cylinders, whenever they went on the 18-2 run in the first half? Is it almost turning into being like a spectator on the bench?
Well, it's fun because you're right. You don't have to call out a set play. You don't feel like you're coaching every dribble, and that's what this style of play does. We develop guys, we teach them how to play, and then once they kind of learn the system, then if they're getting deflections and getting out in the open floor and playing, that's fun to watch. Guys dunking balls, making threes, back in the press, deflection, steal, laying it in. I mean, it's fun for the fans, and when it's going our way, it's fun for the coaches.